Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Friday, November the 11th. I want to start with the US dollar index here, because we've either got a top in place here at wave 5, or we've got wave 3, and then we have an A and a B and a C wave down here. Now, we did have 5 waves down into this little move here, and that's where this wave 4 here could have been sitting here as a finishing here, but we had our rally, didn't quite get to our 50-60% retracement level, but it did break lower here. So that means that we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and at least 3, 4 and 5 in here. So we're going to get more downside here, so that means we're going to get more upside in the US markets. Now that's like a 38.2%. That's kind of, and the wave 4 here, that's kind of like a minimum situation. If we do have wave 5 as a top in play, then we'll need to look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and look at a much deeper move down for all of this, which would increase, the upside for the stock market at that point. So let's just have a quick look at this on the 2K tick chart here, so you've got a bit of bearings here. So yesterday we were talking about this here being a wave C or 4 here, or wave 1, and then looking here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and looking for a C wave up here. It didn't give us a very nice C wave, and there's overlapping here and all the rest of it, but we've got to take what we can get, and that's that. But the clear breach of this low here, puts it past this wave C or 4, so we can bring this down here. But at the same time, we can also think of a bigger move down as well. So we'll just continue to work with this, but because of that breakdown, that's going to put pressure to the upside. So what we can do here for the S&P, there's just take the next logical step, really. So in terms of the rally here, from the low here, we'd always been looking for a move back to the 4,000. That was the 61.8%. So it looks like we're getting it now. We're not going to fall short of this. So we'll need to look at this as the A wave, a B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if it does terminate here, let's just imagine that it does, then the US dollar index would complete its 5 waves down at that point, So we can look at, we'll look at this in more detail when we look at the this particular video, the indices video. So yeah, it can fall from that point. Now, if the US dollar index has got a top in it, and moves past this, or even if this moves past its 5 waves, once we count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, once that counts past here, then we'll have to negate this particular one here and become even more bullish to the upside. I was always going to turn bullish if I'd gotten a classic trading levels pattern sitting on top of the 4,000 here. So it would be, something of this nature here. And then this is the point that we would be going long at. Now, of course, we can improve on that and so on and so on. But just pointing out that we would need to be sitting on top of the 4,000 to eliminate this particular count. Okay, the next level up, if we wanted to stay in a bear market and we wanted to look for another corrective rally, would be up at the 4.3, this old high up here, which from this low to the top of the market is the 61.8%. So we would have to look at something there at that point. But as I mentioned before, in most cases when we have bear markets, it's normally the banks that lead us out of that situation, because obviously the economy's better and the money starts flowing and all these sorts of things. I mean, there's still issues and things are not solved and all the rest of it, but it's the banks, and the bank that is leading to the upside, the ones that we cover, would be Goldman Sachs. So that's kind of leading the bullish market to the upside. The others are a little bit sluggish at this point. Anyway, let's move on from on from that, and we'll look at stocks. So with Apple here, we need to, well, last time we spoke, we were looking for the fifth wave to come down here. I was expecting it to come down a bit further, but obviously we got news things coming out and all the rest of it. So we'll 3, 4, 5 to be completed here, and now we need to look for this ABC to the upside here, and that will come up in here further. Yeah, so we've got further to go up here for that. So nothing to short here. We'll see Friday being bullish. So short-term traders, day traders can continue to the upside, especially with stops, under the top. See how we got support on, we've got 40 here, 140, and then 1, 2, and 3. We've got a really nice support on top of group 1, and that's what we always look for. So that will push up into 5 at that point. Yeah, so that's Apple to go up higher, and NVIDIA. So with NVIDIA, as you know, I was looking at it as an A wave and a B wave here and a C wave up here. I was never really happy with that because the relationship between wave A and wave C was just out of proportion. So I'm putting it there as wave 1, and we did look at the daily chart for this. So I want to do this. Now this is a bit the same here as well, because it looks a bit like a classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and yes, that can go a bit higher wherever that goes to. But normally it comes back and folds back into this number, so it gives us a pattern like this here across the level. We've had that, and we're in here at the moment, so I expect that and that over here. So that could even take us higher, and based on taking us higher, we've been also looking at this here on the daily chart like this here. But it does present a nice case as an A wave and a B, 1 and 2 and 3, and A and a B and a C for 4 and down for 5 here. So looking at the 150 for that A wave to be here, then the B wave, and then a C wave up here. There's a good case for 5 waves down here. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to look at it in any other light, really. So on the 1000 here, let's just for a little bit more detail on that. Whoops-a-daisy, don't need that. So yeah, just basically now that gives us a little bit of an idea. So we can look at it in more of a bullish light. Just cleaning a few objects off the chart. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I mean, maybe I've counted this wrong in here. I mean, it's been a bit of a tricky count, and it's not a clean count because of certain structures within here. But that all said, let's just see if we do get that 5. Well, what we need to wait for here is this top to play out, then get an ABC correction, and then look to go long, back on the level over here with a classic trading level pattern. But we may be able to get a better position than that. We just need to see how this plays out at this point. But we should expect some sort of pattern here, but that can move up to a bit higher at this point. But yeah, that's where we are with that. And so we're sort of taking a bit of a bullish look at that. Amazon here, we were also looking, last time we spoke, we were looking for wave 5 to come down. And yeah, so that's popped up quite sort of nicely at this point. Not quite sure how to look at this. This is probably 1 and 2, and maybe 1 and 2 on ABC pattern here. If it was 1 and 2, 1 and 2, that would, if it was 1 and 2 here, that would be 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. That all of that will be together, and then this one and this one will take this one to this one. So yeah, will that help? Will that B wave pull all the way back to its 50-60%? Maybe. What have we got here? Bit overlapping here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we might get something here like this, some sort of little rally and then down again and then up like this here. So probably not pulling all the way back down here, but it wouldn't be the first time I've been surprised. But we should see another move to further up here. Now, obviously, the 100 is a big fat number, and that's got to be a bit sticky there. So yeah, just be mindful of that. And of course, the most important number here will be 95. Close enough. And then 98, and then you got group 2 in there. I won't go into all of that, but resting back on 95 and then looking for a new high to go long would be the go. Meta platforms, so we'd already been counting up here, hadn't we? So already had this particular structure, so we're looking up at around, at this stage, either 120 or even higher, back up to these levels up here. So let me just have a look in here. So this is probably, yeah, it's a little bit hard to see in there, even at 100 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe I could put that here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the number 1 here, that I'm going to call it 1. It's 1, 1, 10, of course. I think that will basically try to hold the market a little bit. So a little bit of a move up here, and then some type of ABC pattern. Now obviously it may not come all the way back down here as well for that, you know, but we can look for a correction at that point. But being Friday and being bullish, it won't want to come back too much at all. But we're looking further to the upside, and just on the daily chart, we've got a couple of big counts for this in the bigger picture. I didn't mean to do that. I mean to do that, and this down here for the daily chart. So yeah, there's a couple of ways that, you know, that I can count all of this from Meta down here. But just to keep it reasonably simple, we're looking at this bottom as a wave 3 or wave 1 here. So we can look for, you know, a wave 2 would take us back to around the 120 mark, and a wave 4 would take us a little bit higher at that point. I mean, I have another count with a low in place here as well, but let's just see how we go with all of this. It looks very bullish at the moment, but there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end to a trend. So even so, we can just wait for it to play out a little bit further. Netflix, so yeah, we're looking down at a couple of counts on this, but basically wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C. So we're looking for the markets to push up, so there'll be more of a push up here. I just don't know how much this will sort of fluff around here, but we should see it move somewhat higher at this point. But yeah, we have a reasonable impulse wave down at that point, so everything's on track there. And Enphase, so it was nice to see Enphase push up here, because, you know, in the bigger picture here, let's just have a quick look at the bigger picture. It's a daily chart. Was it the daily or a tick chart? Oh yeah. So I haven't been here for a while, so we were looking at this being here. We were talking about this being a B wave up here, but the thing with this B wave up here is that it never gave us a nice B wave up here. It sort of gave us that nice wave 1 here, you know. That's and then we pull back to the 61.8%. Don't need that. So in a way, we could be looking at this being a little wave 1 and 2 in here now for this. So that's kind of getting a little bit interesting now, as such. So let's go back in and have a bit of a look at that, because if that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, then we should move along quite nicely here. You know, we've got a nice classic trading levels pattern here, where we've got the arrival, the reaction, the ABC pattern here, then up for 1 and back for 2, and now up for 1 and back for 2. So we really want to be looking to be, if this is, we'll have a look at this, I think it is five waves, but anyway, we should see some sort of little ABC pattern here. So we could buy the pullback, but at the last resort, we need to be long above that B wave there. So that's what we'll be looking for next with this. So it should get us to 400 at least, you know, probably higher, but I think that could work out quite nicely. Where were we? Back on 100 ticks, I think. Yeah, so because we counted 5 little waves up here for 1 and 2, and the third wave's a little bit small. Maybe I've made a mistake in that. I'll double check that. But we kind of got a reasonable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Yeah, there's overlap. But look, around large numbers, you'll get that, because the bigger orders gravitate towards those numbers. So what we might do now, we had the stop, we had a little position here, and we didn't want it to turn into a loss, but now we've got 5 waves here, and see if you can go back in here and just check my work here. But what I might do is I might just drop this down a little bit, because we don't want to get stopped out now that we've got this 5 waves, because we had this, we counted up here from the low as a nice 5 waves. I couldn't fault it. We had our ABC pulling back to the 61.8% or quite close, and then we're looking for our next 5 waves up, which we kind of got that now. I mean, there may be another little push up here. I haven't pulled all this apart or anything like that, but we got a little bit of time, because we'll be looking for this this ABC correction here. Normally I'd say just go long above the top here, but you might end up just getting one move up there and then getting trapped, but you can buy any pullback at this point too. So let's just put a couple of flags in the ground, so to speak. That's about right. And we'll just turn this green. Should we do that? Yeah, look, let's do that. But basically what we want to do is we just want to get us another part position in here, just because of the markets where they are, because we're looking at a bearish count on the the S&P and the Nasdaq, and that may not be true, but it's not like if we're in a nice solid bull market, well then that would be fine to load up right back here. But I think just keep it a little bit more minimal, and we'll keep the stop out of the way, because we had the stop here, and that would be right on the 61.8%, and that that would come down and grab your stop and then bugger off. I mean, we've all been through that. We don't want that. So yeah, we'll just accept a bit more of a risk. It may not even come back that far, really. It's that 290 looks pretty solid. I've had that little sort of thing through here, so it might just come back to here. The other thing too is that what we also want to be doing here is we want to be, I always try to get a couple of little positions under the big number, and then I like to build in on it. So you might be able to get one closer to the 300, and then the 10, and then the 20, and then the 30, because the thing is in hindsight you look back at the trend, and you should have got more positions at the beginning of the trend. Well, it's not the beginning of the trend, but it's the beginning of the third wave. We've got 1 and 2 here, because there will also, once we get to here, there will also be a 1 and 2 in here as well, so we will be at the beginning of the trend of the third wave, which we really want, so it's not the best, but it's, in hindsight, it'll be okay. It's reasonable. It's not being greedy, and it's just being safe and all those sorts of things. So anyway, enough yakking. Tesla, so yeah, we've been counting down here. I'm not quite sure how to count this ABC pattern here. That's spikes make it a little bit difficult to get things accurate, but in a way we're looking for a move to the 210 area. So we'll just chill on that. I don't know if it's going to come down here further. It looks like some sort of ABC, so we could come down here a bit further and then move up. I'm not quite sure, but we should push up. Basically, we've come through the level here. We hardly even touched it, So we'll come back and and overshoot it. Basically, that's what will happen, and eventually across here, further over here, this will become a balance line, and we'll be able to be long or short, but as it stands, to be short. So we'll see, allow that to play out. And over to Google Alphabet. So with Google Alphabet, when it had its earnings and so on, and it dropped, it was a bit there's just all gaps. So it's hard to see inside of that. It's only when it sort of continues to trade we can sort of start to figure out what it is to a point. So we've had wave 2 up here. I don't have a nice 5 waves down here. That's the problem, right? So it could be, you could count it any which way you want. So there's 2 things I'm tracking here. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, then ABC for the B wave here, and then going up for the C wave to this wave 2. So it can go to this. It can. This will probably just creep up here and not pull back here. So just be mindful of that as well. But as far as it goes, I can count 5 waves in here. So yeah, it looks sort of okay. So we're either going to sort of have something like this here and then come down, or we're going to be going up further into the 100 and retesting it up there at that point, and looking at this here as this here is an A wave over here, because it just doesn't give us 5 waves down here for this. So this wave 2 over here would become more prominent in this market. We could also have a low in here too. I just want to talk about that for a moment. Let's just go back to the daily chart, I think. So it's a little bit confusing, but we could look at it as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then down for wave 3 here, which I've just got here, wave 3 here, wave 4 over to here, and then wave 5 down to here, just to recount that. Because the thing about this, right, is, well, that spike has thrown it out a little bit up here. That was always a problem. But this Alphabet's part of the communications sector, and with this here, this is just 5,000 ticks, but it has got the top up here. And we can count it down as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down for 5 here, and there's 5 waves in here. And then from 2 down to 3 here, we've got 5 waves in here, and a nice 4, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So it's possible we've got some sort of low in here as well. So we could actually come further up in all of this. I've tried to count it as an ABC pattern to the downside. It's just not there for me yet, but I'll keep working on that. Yeah, we have looked at this before, but yeah, so we can have a low in there, so we'll just take that on board as well with all of this. We'll keep an eye on this. So I would only turn more bullish if the 100 became the support, because it's quite natural for the market to come down, vibrate at a number, drop, come back and test it, and that's where the battle is. It'll either become support or resistance, and if it fails, well, then we come down. If it doesn't fail and it finds support, we know what support looks like. We know what a trade setup is, so then we can look to go long at that point there. In the meantime, you can go long here if you wanted to, but I'll leave that up to you. And Microsoft is the same as well. It had its earnings like Google and had the same thing occurring as well. So I wonder if we've got an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. We may just end up with the A, the B, and the C wave to this point, and come and come down from that point. But looking at the S&P and looking at the other stocks, we still need to do something like this, so I'm thinking that's more in line with what we're looking at. And look, if I've made a mistake, the 250 here is, you know, if we get a pattern like this, a classic trading levels pattern, then we'll look to go long. But I'm not going to go long as a bullish move before a big number like that. You just, you know, you're just asking for trouble. So we need that as support, but in the meantime, you know, we should expect it to go higher. It doesn't have to. It's just already got 3 waves here, and you know, maybe this is some sort of, you know, but it just gaps, so you can't read inside it, you know. So it does make it a little bit tricky for that, but yeah, there's a few of them like this. Google's one of them. So Berkshire Hathaway here, let me just have a little look at this. Need to take it from wave A here, so putting that here. So we could end up here. I'm just going to play with this a bit. Now the other thing here is that looking at this as an A wave, and then a B wave here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then the A, the B, and the C here. So this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. At the same time, I don't see any real problem of actually calling a low in here as well for this. One week, we're on 50k, 1k. So yeah, I'm looking at 5 waves here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're nearly at the top of this. We may not sort of reach that. This number here will, you know, be a little bit sticky on all of that. Let's just go to the 1000 and then the 100. So yeah, looking at an A wave here, an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave here. But at the same time, we'll also need to look at it as wave 1. We won't miss a lot, because if this is if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we're here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to come up here, then what will happen is that if I just put this here as 4, 5 here, then we're going to get a classic trading levels pattern here as well. So we'll either have a top in at that point, I'll bring that over to here, we'll either have this top in here, or all of this move up here is going to be wave 1. And if it's going to be wave 1, well then we can just be long from here. And then we'll be catching the 3rd wave up at that point. Just go into 100 ticks and look at this a bit closer. So yeah, in a way, it will just sort itself out across this level here. So we've been looking at this as a B wave. Oh, can't remember what we're looking at as, but anyway, we had this as 1 and 2 here. Or did I have wave 2 over here? And A, B, C, doesn't matter. Anyway, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then now I need to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So this move to the upside is pretty common in terms of what it's doing. You know, so most of the stocks that we looked at, I don't know if that wave 3 is finished, by the way, but it doesn't really matter, because we need wave 4 and then wave 5 here, and then we'll look at getting this market being corrected. Now it could just correct this trend here and pull back 50-60% and move up at that point, or it could have a deeper correction coming back and correcting, you know, this whole trend here. But in one way or another, we'll figure it out. And just putting this in here now, and we'll put in so, you know, worst comes to worst, we'll catch that 3rd wave up here, which is really what we want. So we'll just chill on that a bit and just allow this to play out. And that's Berkshire. Okay, so moving on to block. Now, I had this here as the alternative 5th wave here, but now I'm going to bring it in as the fifth wave low here, and I'm going to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and we know that the rest of the markets need to push up, so we're going to see this push up as well. So anything above this structure once it finishes, or when the S&P finishes, you know, and all the other markets, like when this third wave, fourth wave here finishes, and this fifth wave finishes here, and so on, that and that will be the same thing with, you know, what we looked at with Microsoft and Google and all the others. But anything above that, then we can turn long at that point. But obviously there'll be a pullback as well, and so on. But we'll be looking for long trades at that point. Yeah, because that would also be putting the S&P on the 4,000 at that point. So yeah, the Bank of America. So it's coming up to the 40 now, and so I'm just going to allow that to play out. It is possible we could put this as an A and a B and a C wave here as a low in place here. That's possible, but the same thing would apply as well. Once the S&P and all the others have finished their moves up, and then we've got a top in play here, then anything above that, then we'll have to be bullish at that point. It's just it's a bit pointless being bullish in here when there's an opportunity that it can hit a 50-60% target area here and then drop from that point, you know. And the other bank here, JP, the same thing as well into this space. Once again, we could also look at these markets being, it has made a new low here. It's possible to have wave C in here. All of this could be wave 1. And the reason I think that we could be bullish in these markets is from Goldman Sachs. So with Goldman Sachs here, I've already put it here as a bullish count, looking at this as an, I'm not quite sure about this just yet, but an A and a B and a C for the A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the C wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1, A, B, C for 2 here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going already, this is leading to the upside. So the other ones are, you know, because this is way above it, 61.8% at this stage. So this is a good case for this is 61.8% here, a good case for it being bullish. Sure, it could go to the 78.6 and so on, but I think we need to start looking at it like this, you know. I think that's it. Alrighty, that's it. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.